Well, every year there are more than 3 million cases, and many of these are the result of a sports injury. A lot of talk these days about concussions. It is the most common type of head injury. So as parents watching our kids play sports, what can we do? What do we need to know? Here with some valuable information is Dr. Eric Parks from Watauga Orthopedics, and it's great to have you on the show.
Thank you, Amy. Good to be here.
Well, certainly another school year, lots of sports seasons starting up again, and I think as parents that's sort of one of those things you're always watching, hoping and praying for the best, but those are things that we see over and over again.
Absolutely, and it's very timely with fall sports getting going, especially with football and soccer. We start to see more and more kids coming in with concussions.
So what is a concussion?
Sure, so if you really drill down to it, a concussion, it's not a structural injury. So there's the thought that, well, the brain is swelling, and that's not actually it at all. If you go in and scan people with concussions, their brains actually look normal. It's more of a functional issue. So what happens is the brain gets traumatized, and there's basically an energy crisis. The brain is kind of screaming for glucose, and how that is presented is the symptoms that come with concussion.
So what are those symptoms then that we need to be aware of as parents?
So the most common are dizziness, especially in athletes or even just adults will have some form of a blow to the head. But they'll have dizziness, lightheadedness, may be very confused, sometimes have throwing up. They may have a loss of consciousness where they pass out, but that may not be present, and if it's not, it doesn't mean it's not a concussion. Lights may bother them, sounds may bother them, they may feel sick to their stomach. Kids often will have difficulty focusing in school.
And sometimes it doesn't happen necessarily right away, right?
That's exactly right, and that's the scary thing about concussion, because they may not have an observed blow to the head, or it may be something that's relatively mild, and they just find that they don't feel right, or maybe their family noticed that they're just not acting like they normally do. So
should you always seek medical treatment if you think your child may have had a concussion?
I'd recommend it, especially if whether or not the student was known to fall or not, but it's good to be evaluated because there are certain red flags that you want to be aware of. Certainly if a student starts being more confused, if they start throwing up, if they start becoming less responsive, from our perspective those are red flags that need to be evaluated. Thankfully though, a vast majority of concussion symptoms resolve within a week to 10 days.
Well, that's some good news.
Yeah.
Are there some sports that are, I don't want to say worse, but that are maybe a little bit more prone to concussions?
Sure, I mean, and it's the ones that you would predict. Football by far for boys is the #1 sport, and then for girls actually soccer, because with heading, and there's a lot of debate about heading the ball right now, but sometimes the ball has been shown to come in at 75 miles an hour and hitting girls on the head. So those are by far the two most common sports that we see concussions in.
And it seems like now too, coaches and school officials are really starting to take the ball too with knowing and trying to kind of resolve when they are having these issues.
No question, there's a big awareness, and so thankfully now even in the Little League, coaches are going through training about recognizing what the common symptoms of concussion are, and then giving good advice to parents about what to watch for, and then seeking a follow-up.
And are you seeing a lot of these in the office
We
now?
do, yeah. They start coming in. But thankfully, I mean, most resolve within a week to 10 days. And the way to treat it is just rest. And so we'll pull the athletes from sport. Sometimes you even have to take the kids out of school for a brief time just so that the brain can rest and calm down. So we take away cell phones and video games and all the activities that will stimulate the brain.
I think you just caused major panic amongst all the students out there.
No one will ever come to see us now.
And our video games.
That's right.
Yes, but certainly you mentioned the scan, so you can do some things to make sure that it will resolve itself, and if other treatment is needed,
absolutely,
you can do that as well.
Yes.
All right, well, certainly a good time of the year to be talking about this. It's great to have you on the show.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for joining us. If you would like more information, it is Watauga Orthopedics. They are right there on Susanna Street in Johnson City. Check out their website for more information, or you can give their office a call.
The preceding portion of Daytime was sponsored by